Thanks everybody for coming out. Guys, I'm a little bit shell shocked right now. That's not at all how I thought this game would go. Wasn't prepared for it to go that way. I thought we would be able to fight them tooth and nail, and that's not the way it went. And I don't have a lot of answers for you. I didn't have a whole lot of answers for the team. What I did tell them is that I'm going to go to work and for them, and I'm going to get them some answers as to why that occurred. And I know this, like, this game becomes pretty pure, and like, you have to do your job. We all have to do their job. But once again, it starts with me. And I got to lay the foundation. I got to make sure the coaches are doing everything they can to put our guys in position. And then at the end of the day, we'll have to make plays. I mean, that's never going to change, but we'll figure this out. We've got a heck of an opponent coming up in Texas next week, but we've got a lot to solve with the Rice Owls before we worry about any other opponent right now. With that, I'll open up for any questions.
And Mike, I guess we'll start off with the first drive. Houston snapped a streak of 15 consecutive opponents that y'all stopped, held out of the end zone, kept out the scoreboard on the first drive. Did that kind of set a tone or a harbinger of things to come for you guys?
I mean, I guess looking back, Matt, it did. I mean, but that's, anytime somebody scores in the first quarter or on the first drive, it's like, okay, let's get our bearings. And unfortunately, there was like 3 drives before we were able to settle in. And I thought our defense did a great job settling in the second quarter. No matter what position we put them in, offense or special teams wise, they kind of stood up and acted like they were in the flow of the game and looked like our defense. And, we talked at halftime, we had every chance in the world. As bad as we had played through 2 quarters, we were only down 10 points. And if we could have got a stop and then put one in the box, hey, man, it might be a game, and we really could go for this thing and be right where we needed to be. And obviously all those things ended up just being hypotheticals. They didn't come to fruition, and we didn't get it done. So, again, my hat's off to those guys on the other sideline. They did a heck of a job to come in and to be able to score 17 points that quick on our defense. And that's tough. That's tough stuff. And offensively, we weren't able to keep the ball, to have them basically hold the ball and time of possession and run the ball effectively, and us not being able to run the ball effectively, nor protect the passer much. And then we struggled completing the ball downfield. So again, not much went right today. Not much went right. And just, again, I'll get better. We'll get better.
And then made the decision to roll with Luke McCaffrey to start this game. Did you have a good sense of how to evaluate it? You mentioned the offensive line struggles. Does that kind of make it challenging to actually focus on what the quarterback did or didn't do?
Yeah, it does. I mean, when the quarterback doesn't have time to get his back plant foot in the ground on a 5-step drop, it's hard to evaluate him. It's hard to blame him. But part of that position is always taking care of the football, and that's what we're going to continue to preach, and that's what we need from that position. And it doesn't matter if it's Wiley or Luke or whoever it is. We got to protect the ball through your decision making, and if you're a ball carrier, we got to make sure we control and keep that ball to the ground. And but again, there's a lot to learn from Matt. I'm just telling you, like, right now, I can play the game back in my head and see different things, but at no time did I feel like we were being efficient. Certainly never felt like we were dominant anywhere on the field. And that's a rough feeling. You feel like you can't help each side of the ball. Usually when one side of the ball is struggling, the other's doing well. You feel like you can do things there to help the flow of the game. And you think the way we practice and the way we usually play special teams, you think we can make a play there. And to have a punt partially blocked and then completely blocked, I mean, that's just not us. And so again, a lot to work on. Not gonna hide from it. I couldn't even name all the things we've got to fix right now. I would just tell you that we're going to get to work on.
On the sequence on McCaffrey's, I believe it was his second interception. It looked like he went short and the receiver went deep. Was that did you have any context on what happened there, or was that a scheme understanding thing, or just somebody running a wrong route?
I do not remember exactly what happened on that play, Matt.
And then kind of big picture, what do you take from what you saw from McCaffrey today? Had 2 different quarterbacks start 2 different games, and a mix of good and bad.
Yeah, today what I saw the ability for him to be explosive with his legs and do some really cool things that we know he's capable of doing. we've got to, and again, it is hard for me to sit here and be like, oh man, how was he as a passer when I felt like he was on the move a lot. I don't feel like he was protected overly well throughout the day. And so again, it's a little bit of a tough assessment, but we'll watch the film, and I guarantee you there's things that the quarterback can improve, right? There always is. And so there will be those things, and there will be things for, I think, everybody on our football team to improve on.
And then I want to ask you about the defense, particularly the second quarter looked like they were running people over, but the third quarter, 2 or 3 third and 14, 15, 16 that got converted. That's not something that is in their character. What did you kind of see there that led to that?
Yeah, I really saw us not getting home, not getting to the quarterback on those third downs, doing an unbelievable job on first and second down to put them in third and long. And then their protection was holding up. The quarterback did an unbelievable job staying in there, and he ripped it. And dadgum, we knew number one was a heck of a player. We talked about him all week, but he made play after play, climbed the ladder, got hit, made play after play. So again, their kids made a lot of plays today.
And then when it came to closing things out, last one on the quarterbacks, an important decision for you to leave Luke in there after the game had kind of gone south a little bit, to give him those extra reps.
Yeah, I think we've been clear about that, right? Like, Luke's been here since mid-June, and every rep he gets, it has value, and he improves from, he learns from. So at that point, we're trying to find a way to move the sticks and do whatever we can. And, the last play of the game was not supposed to be called as such. That was a coaching error in the communication to the field. It's something that happened through the headset. And once again, that falls on me. I can't let that happen. I guess I should have taken a timeout when we got the wrong thing called, but that's not the quarterback's fault. That's not the player's fault. That falls on us, and we'll get better. So again, we just need a lot of growth if we're going to do the things we've talked about in this program this year. And I still think we can. I don't think this is kind of like we said last week. This is not going to be terminal. This is not going to affect our ability to go to a bowl and win it. But if we play like this, there's zero chance.
And then you can't do this, but if you cut the season up into quarters, you had 3 really good quarters against Arkansas. The second quarter tonight, half the time it's been really good football, half the time it hasn't. What does that do when you kind of can pinpoint the on and off switch for your team?
Yeah, I think consistency is one of the last things that your football team develops as you grow, but we've got to get there. I think that's a really interesting way, the way you just looked at it, Matt. And I think I'm going to take that approach too, and know that you're right. Half the time we've played really damn good football, but we've got to find a way to close out games and to do it for 4 quarters. And that's got to be our charge. It's got to become that consistency. It's got to find a way. But from a glasses half full standpoint, you're right. We played winning football for 4 quarters, and the other 4 have not been, to say the least.
And then I did want to close that, ask you, a lot of different guys down in the game tonight. DJ Arkansas, I saw Lamar Narcisse was out there early. Was that kind of, once things got to where they were, a good opportunity for those young guys? You see anybody stand out?
Yeah, I think those guys have earned some trust and earned the ability to go in a game. We're not scared to put them in a game. And also, we had some people who get banged up today. And so when that happens, it is always going to be next man up. And thank God we've got talented options to throw in the game.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank Coach. We'll bring Luke up, and then Elijah Garcia will follow Luke.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, Luke, you want us to open just some general thoughts about the game, and then we'll take some questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement as our team. Obviously, that's reflected on the score. But me personally, I got to do my job better, protect the football, and distribute the ball.
Questions?
Hey, Luke, I just want to ask you about this week. When did you officially hear that you were going to be the guy that got to start today, and how did that go down?
Throughout the week, we were ready for it. We planned for it, and getting some of those reps helped.
And then how did it kind of start out? You had a couple short drives, and then by the time you got to the second quarter, once you got an extended drive, things seemed to start clicking. Was there a point where you felt comfortable tonight?
Definitely, yeah. I thought I felt comfortable, but there's just some points that you make a mistake or a split-second decision that turns out to be wrong, and those are the things that we got to work on. We had a couple drives where we're driving and then they end, and that's the consistency factor that we'll have to reflect back on and find an answer for.
And then I think a couple interceptions credited in the stat sheet. I want to ask you about that second one. It looked like a receiver went deep and you went in. Was there a miscommunication there, or what happened?
Yeah, I mean that's just me forcing a ball that I shouldn't, throwing across the middle. Thought our tight ends had a solid day today, running routes, but that's just error on my side.
And then you've played a lot of football. You've had a lot of ups and downs. What's kind of your internal, message to yourself after this game? What are you going to do move forward?
It's the same as every week. You're going to look for ways to get better, and whether that's a few mistakes that you got to clean up, or whether that's the whole game, you'll find those little areas that you can get better, and then come back out next week with a fire under your belly.
Anything else for Luke?
Luke, we're going into this game. Were you expecting to play the entire time, or did you expect to have any reps with Wiley? Okay.
Yeah, I was.
And how did it feel out there in the second half when your offense wasn't seeing the field as much? Do you feel like you lost some of that rhythm that you established in the second quarter?
That's part of football. That's part of being tough mentally and being able to create that energy, create that consistency. So I don't think that's something that should affect us.
Anything else? All right, Luke, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll bring up Elijah Garcia. Elijah, we'll open up again. Just some your general thoughts as you have had a little bit of time to think about the game, and then we'll take a few questions.
Man, I thought we played hard up front. It's just, in the back end, they threw some bombs on us, and part of that is on us too, getting the quarterback and, helping out our secondary, rush and coverage go hand in hand. So we got to do better up front, and,
Hey, like you mentioned that pressure. It felt like, especially early on, y'all were getting to the quarterback and getting a hand in his face or hitting him just about every other play. What's it like when you see your part kind of hold up and then you don't know what's happening until you turn around?
Man, it's tough. It's just, looking back and seeing like a long bomb, it's like, man, but at the same time, it's like, man, if I would have got there quicker, or, if we would have ran that stunt a little better or stayed a little tighter in the gap, we could have affected the throw more and helped them guys out. But it's definitely tough. We this week, we're just going to have to work on third down and just getting off the field, because that really hurt us today. I think that was the difference.
Yeah, especially those third and long. Is that something that's not typical from you guys? Anything that Houston did really well, or you guys just didn't execute? What happened in that sequence, especially the third quarter?
Man, I felt like their quarterback just made some great plays, some great throws, and part of that was just like, man, we got to rattle him more. Like, we had to make him more uncomfortable. I thought running wise, I thought we were pretty much covering the run pretty well, but it's just getting off the field, because the more we're out there, the more tired we get, and then the more likely it is for them to get a long bomb or explosive. So it's just like, we got to get off the field, and we can't let them get a rhythm.
And what's it like for you as a leader on this defense that has been pretty stout to look up at the scoreboard past 2 weeks and see a 40 spot?
Man, it hurts because, it's something we take pride in a lot, just playing defense and just putting the ball down no matter what. I'm always telling the guys in the huddle, like, hey, we can't really control what the offense does, but, we got to play our part and do our jobs. And our job is to not let them in, so they're not in till they're in. And, today, they got in too many times. So we definitely, going into this week, we're gonna have to buckle down and just really get after it at practice because today wasn't good enough.
And then what do you see? I asked Coach, but a lot of guys played, especially in the front seven. Saw Kenny Seymour out there, DJ Arkansas, Miles Adams. I know you'll rotate a lot to begin with, but what do you see from some of those young guys that got a little bit more run today?
Man, it's just great, giving them the opportunity to go out there, and they're handling their own. It's just awesome to see that growth and development. Deuce has been on this team, or Miles Adams, we call him Deuce, but he's been on this team a long time, and just seeing him get out on the field and contribute, it's awesome, man. And, the more we can rotate and keep guys fresh, the better. So it's just been pretty cool seeing that development.
Not Big Adams yet.
What was that?
I said he's not Big Adams yet.
Oh no, he's still Deuce.
Big Miles, sorry.
Yeah.
Elijah, how would you say that your defense handled when Houston ran into the middle of the field? Because it felt like you guys got stops there and they started targeting the sidelines more.
Man, it's tough. We go our penny package, and that's really just to whenever they're in passing situation, third and long. And it's like, man, I think I was talking to Trey about it, Trey Schumann, and he was like, man, we gotta help those guys out more. We got to get home because at the end of the day, if the quarterback can't throw it, then he can't, or if he's getting hit, he can't throw it, so he can't make the play. And it's just got to put more on us and affect them more.
Anything else for Elijah?
Yeah, last one. You've now been around the block a couple times, and you've seen the growth, especially from when Coach Bloomgren first got here to now. Does it kind of put any more, maybe not pressure, but focus on you to make these next couple of games count?
Oh yeah, especially going into conference, we want to go in with some momentum, and next week we got a huge game, and I was talking to Trey again about on the sideline. This week has to be really focused and honed in, and practice is going to have to be harder because we can't go out there and do what we just did because it wasn't good enough, and it hurt and it was embarrassing, and we just got to do better, and I believe this defense is going to do better, and the way to do that is just to show it in practice, so we're gonna get after it this week.